All right, everybody. Come on in, come on in, come on in. We are so excited for today. Welcome back. For anybody new here, hi, I am Maggie, your substitute teacher. You all may know me from my cooking channel. Lucy and I are the founders of the Finishing School for the Modern Woman, which is an 8-week virtually taught finishing school where we teach ladies to be the best version of themselves using femininity, elegance, and etiquette. We recently wrapped up our first graduation weekend, and we have been sharing with you all some of the details from that weekend. And the professional photos have just dropped from our afternoon tea. So today we are going to take you all with us on a recap of our experience. Lucy, would you like to introduce yourself?
And I'm Lucy. I have a channel. It's mostly the new content is about femininity, elegance, and things that impact women over a certain age. I know that I've been very slow uploading content. I just get so tied up with, life. And I have the Wednesdays and Fridays live sessions, which is just, for me, it's very enjoyable. Um, and I plan on starting uploading content as soon as I get inspired and I get something that really makes sense to share. Because again, social media is overwhelming sometimes, and I have to find something that is worth your time and my time to share. And before we move on, I want to thank SS for giving us this candle at our meetup. It says congrats, and it's a champagne toast. Thank you, SS. I think that every time we meet to recap these events, I forget, but thank you so much for giving us these candles. They smell delicious. I don't even want to open it. I have my candles behind. Maybe next time I will, but it smells delicious.
Oh my goodness, and mine is upstairs, so I will definitely bring it next time. And you mentioned the meetup, Lucy. We haven't shared that, but let me know if we should. So if you all are wondering what's going on, so like I shared with you all, Lucy and I have a finishing school that we run off of YouTube. It is privately taught, but is for ladies of all ages, I'd say from 16 to 60 plus. And this is our first graduating class. And so the class is taught virtually over Zoom, but it was really important to me when we stood up the finishing school that we had an in-person component. Not only that we were able to present the ladies with their trophies, which we did on night 2, but I wanted to craft a weekend for them where they could put into practice some of the things that we had taught. So on day one, it was a 3-day weekend. On day one, we had a happy hour. We invited you all to the happy hour where the ladies could relax, mix and mingle, work on their soft skills with networking, with small talk. We've got some introverts in the group. That was day one. Day two, we shared with you all, was our formal dinner at Maggiano's. We presented them with their trophies. We had a keynote speaker. My man wanted to give some words of encouragement to the ladies, and we had a wonderful evening where they could practice their fine dining skills. And then on day three, which is the night we're going to review tonight, I wanted to take the ladies to afternoon tea, which is part of my self-care routine and something that I enjoy. And I was so thrilled to be able to treat the ladies to this experience. I'll give you all a little bit of history about afternoon tea, and then we're going to dive into the pictures. So it's really important on your feminine journey, and this is one of the things that we teach the ladies, is that you do things and you have routines that you put in place to remind you to stay in a softer state of mind, so that when life happens, like Lucy says, life just happens to all of us, you have those self-care routines in place so you're not like an exposed nerve. And so afternoon tea was a wonderful time and place for us to do that. So I'm going to give a little background, but Lucy, would you like to say anything before we begin?
Okay, I have to confess, when you talked about tea, I am very practical. I come from a third world country where tea is not customary, and I am also a tomboy at heart. So seeing this frilly thing, tea, I thought, oh my goodness, this is gonna, as an introvert, it's going to take a lot from me. But again, I was sold on the idea. The experience was amazing. It does bring that femininity and elegance. It just comes naturally. When you're in a beautiful environment, that femininity comes naturally. And I can tell you that it came out from all of us when we were sitting there sharing the items and pouring our tea. Anyway, Maggie's going to tell you about it. But again, I was a little skeptical, but I was sold afterwards.
I am so happy to hear that. And yes, for any of the listeners that might think, and I have heard it all, and I am okay with it. It doesn't take all that. You don't need to do all that. That's fine. And again, this is not about having a luxury experience. I wanted to treat the ladies to something very luxurious, but you can do this at home with a cup of tea and just sitting down and taking time to reflect. Maybe for you it's journaling, maybe for you it's soft music, light stretching, gardening. You can put things in place to help you take care of yourself as a woman. All right, so I'm going to read a couple paragraphs and we're going to get into the pictures. And this is from Afternoon Tea Etiquette from one of my teachers, Jamila Musayeva. So the inventor of this beautiful British tradition is deemed to be Anna Russell, the Duchess of Bedford. Anna was a lady of bedchamber to Queen Victoria in the 1830s. During this period, the time gap between lunch and dinner was about 6 or 7 hours, and no snacking took place in between. I would not do well. The legend has it that one lovely summer late afternoon in 1840, Anna felt really hungry and could not wait until dinner time. So she requested to be served tea with some bread and butter and cakes in her room. A decision to snack before dinner time soon became a tradition that she shared and enjoyed with her friends outside of the premises of her room. And over time, this tradition carried on across the country and eventually around the globe and became known as the epitome of British traditions. So I know we're not royalty, but we can have a royal tea. But I wanted to use this opportunity to share with the ladies and also teach them in real time, in person, something that they could put into place. So we are going to dive in to the pictures and I will give you all some commentary. Thank you all so much for being here. And Lucy and I are going to take you on the adventure of afternoon tea at Neiman Marcus. Okay, so first things first, let me share with you all how I found this. There is a website. There's afternoon tea. You can find this at almost every city, probably your upscale hotels. You can check and see, kind of like a Sunday brunch. They may have like an afternoon tea on Saturday and Sunday. And so I wanted to find a place here in Atlanta because all of the ladies came here to Atlanta. Lucy was here, where we could get a private room. A lot of time tea service is kind of out in the open, but I wanted to have a space just for our ladies. And so Neiman Marcus, which is a luxury retailer, I've never shopped there. Maybe you all have, but they have a cafe in Neiman Marcus, and within the cafe, they have a private room. So I was able to reserve that room for the ladies. And when they walked in, it was set up beautifully for them. The night before, we were at Maggiano's, which was a very masculine and beautiful environment, but very strong. And I wanted to give them a girly experience. So, Lucy, what was your first thought when you walked in?
I like that you make that distinction between Maggiano's and the tea party because it is. Maggiano's was all brown leather, kind of like cigar place where, these high level men would meet to have dinner. And then at the tea environment, it was just so gentle. Even the chairs were so light to be able to pull it as ladies. We didn't have to use that much strength to pull the chair. So it was just so beautifully dainty and elegant.
Absolutely. Thank you for saying that. I'm glad you all had a good experience, and I see some of the ladies in the chat chiming in as well. So you all can see the crockery or the glassware is here. I wanted to make sure that we were able to practice with proper stemware. I did see your question next level about the tea selection, so I will definitely answer that question in just a moment. But you can see here the table was set up beautifully. I wanted us to practice. One of the first things that they brought out was some consomme. And this is a first for me. So let's talk a little bit about that. Let me explain it. Now, afternoon tea, as you all heard when I read the paragraph, this did start in London. Now, a lot of etiquette trends kind of started with royalty, but etiquette is really just about consideration of others and just knowing what behavior is appropriate for the occasion. Do we do this all the time? No, but I want to make sure that our ladies know what is acceptable and what is not. When you partake in afternoon tea in different areas at different times of the year, it's going to be different. So, for example, here in Atlanta, you may have peach tea selections or peach flavored, desserts. Depending if you go in the springtime or in the fall, you may have more cranberry. Every place puts their own little spin on it, and that's one of the things that I love. So at Neiman Marcus, they served us something called consomme, which to me is like a palate cleanser. It was like a warm chicken broth. And it was so savory and so good. Just no meat, no vegetables in it, just a really clean broth, but it kind of got your appetite started to enjoy what was to come. What did you think of the consomme, Lucy?
I kind of knew what it was because in Spanish, consomme is soup. So consomme de pollo, it's chicken soup. So I knew that that was what they were bringing, but it's fascinating um, how it's used to cleanse our palate before we go into the tea and all of the other items that we're going to be discussing. I loved it.
I loved it too. And if you're trying to have a little bit of that savory flavor without calories, broth is a great way to kind of sip on something. I see you all's questions coming in here. We are sharing with you all the experience for the finishing school. If you enjoy it, we're glad to share it with you, but it doesn't have to be this way. I just wanted to send the ladies off with something exquisite. Okay, another thing that I wanted to do was to gift the ladies. So all of the ladies took home a nice glass mug with some tea so that they could recreate this at home. The ladies started to arrive. The dress code for afternoon tea, I asked the ladies to wear their Sunday best. So this is something that you would wear for Easter Sunday, very girly. So we had a lot of flowers, a lot of bright colors. I was really excited to see the ladies put on something that made them instantly feminine, because as Lucy said, looking around the table, this was a wonderful lady experience. Anything to add about that, Lucy?
And we also, that was part of our test too, to see if the ladies understood the assignment. Again, when it comes to going to different environments, what it takes is just a little research. So when I learned that I was going to go to a tea party, all I did was go into Pinterest and say, what do classy ladies wear to tea parties? And then you get examples of what is the right outfit to wear in an environment like that, especially when you've never been to one in your life. So for me, this was first time in Atlanta, first time at a tea party, first time in such an elegant environment, first time at Neiman Marcus, and thank goodness I didn't go wandering off because my husband would have had a heart attack if I would have bought more stuff in at a expensive store. So, but it was something that we were wanting to make sure that they understood what was asked of them to bring themselves in a tea party.
Absolutely. And we cover this in the finishing school, the role of a good guest, the role of a good host. And part of that, every event has a dress code and you want to mind the dress code. So if you're ever invited to tea, ladies, again, think Sunday best. You can think something floral, bright colors, something feminine. Sometimes you also had a little fascinator in my hair. So like Lucy said, perfect thing to do. If you don't know, do your research. You can always ask the host, but we got there and I thought it was wonderful. I was pleased. Okay, so the ladies started to arrive. We've already introduced most of them. You all know Miley. Miley came down. She's going to be with us again. So happy to see her. There is Sherry. Sherry is one of our lovely elders. You all know Serena. Serena was there. And Linda. Linda came through, so much energy and joy. There is the beautiful Jocelyn. And this doesn't show very well, but it was kind of like a pinstripe denim. It was a beautiful dress. And there is Chipo looking very lovely in orange, a bright orange. We have Kaylee wearing a very beautiful floral, soft and feminine dress. I think she looks lovely. You all know Bella. Bella wore this beautiful pop of yellow. I think she looks like a sunflower. It looks incredible on her. Great choice. Alexis looking like a first lady with her beautiful tweed skirt suit and her pearls on, looking lovely. This is Kaylee's plus one, also dressed for the occasion with the little fascinator in her hair and some flowers on her dress. And there is Drea as well. All right, so as everybody is getting in, we'll come over here and take a look at the chat. Anything else to add, Lucy?
The photographer was amazing. She caught those special moments where you're not even paying attention, you don't even know she's around. So she was going around very quietly, making sure that she caught those, impromptu type just instances where it makes the looking at the pictures again saying, oh my goodness, we were having a really good time.
Absolutely. I'm huge on photography because I like to capture the moments. And this was my gift to the ladies. I hired professional photography at all of our events, and the ladies have seen these pictures, and it is for them to keep. The gift that the ladies gave to me, and hopefully you all will see this as we go through the pictures. As I looked around at the table, everybody had a light, soft smile on them. You could tell we had just relaxed, allowed ourselves to be feminine, to enjoy the moment. And that's why self-care is so important. So when you say it don't take all that, that's fine. But ladies, we all live in a very fast paced modern world. It's competitive, it's demanding. If you have a masculine job, if you have boys, any of these things will kind of chip away at your femininity. So if you want to show up as the best version of yourself, because we know masculine men require feminine women. This is something that I wanted to make sure the ladies had the opportunity to experience. And yes, shout out to Caitlin Hill Photography, one of my longtime family photographers. I actually did a collab with her. Caitlin did the happy hour as well as the afternoon tea, and the pictures are beautiful. And Lucy is right. Her style is to really capture those subtle moments. It's not so posy, but you really get the experience like you all were there with us. All right, so as we continued on, I wanted to welcome everyone. One of the roles of the host. So I'll give you all a little teaching here. The ladies know this. When you enter an event and you're invited as the guest, you always follow the lead of the host. So I was very proud of the ladies. There was some seating around the main table. When they came in, they kind of waited for me to say, you may take your seats, and welcome them to the tea. And as the host, I need to set the cadence for how we are going to conduct ourselves. That is my responsibility. So I'm welcoming them, hoping everybody is having a great weekend so far. And I always like to take a lap around the table to ask the ladies how their experience has been, get their feedback, and any takeaways from the event so far. Lucy, would you like to add anything to that?
Yeah, and it's as a host, you do have a really special place because you are making sure that everything is right, but at the same time, you have to prepare your speech, set the tone for the rest of the evening. And I mean, I loved it, Maggie. You did an incredible job just letting us know what the occasion was about what we were going to see within those, I think it was 3 hours that went by so quickly. And yeah, I mean, you have to be able to prepare to set the tone of the event.
Absolutely. So my ladies were here. It is now day three. Just welcoming them, making sure everybody is good and comfortable. And I actually asked who had had afternoon tea experience before, and only two of the ladies that were here had experienced afternoon tea. So I was very excited to let them know what I shared with you all, a little bit of the history, what they can expect, a few faux pas to avoid. But really, this was just your time to be elegant, be beautiful, and enjoy. All right, so as I'm speaking and welcoming the ladies, you can see Caitlin just captured some beautiful pictures. Jocelyn, Alexis, Miley, and then the star of the show. I don't think I had said this so far, but my mom. You all know her as Nana, the matriarch amongst us. More to come about that. Um, I wanted to, mom is retired. She's a retired home economics teacher, and I am my mother's daughter. And like Lucy, I'm also an immigrant born in Ghana, raised in America, but with a very traditional nuclear family. Had a little storybook childhood, but I understand now the value. And my mom talked about how she taught me not by telling me, but by showing me. So Nana was there, and all the ladies got the opportunity to meet the people that make me who I am. The day before, they got to meet my man and get wisdom and be able to ask questions to a 1% man and kind of pick his brain as far as what men look for. And then on Sunday, we're able to go back in my childhood and listen to my mom and ask some questions about little Maggie. Lucy, I know Nana was a favorite of yours. Any update, anything to add?
Oh my goodness. She was such an inspiration because she did go into the story of how she became the home economics PhD. And she gave us such amazing words of wisdoms throughout the event. She had us a couple of times almost crying. I think that some ladies, it got to their heart. It got to me too. But then, of course, as part of the uh, group or the host, you have to also show composure. That's really important, but sometimes you can't help it as a woman, as a feminine being. When something touches your heart, it is almost impossible to hold back those emotions.
Yes, you're absolutely right. And I see beautiful Jocelyn in the chat, and she says, I had a marvelous time. I'm grateful I was able to experience it. Thank you so much for being here, Jocelyn. We were so happy to have you. And, I know this is my mom, and of course, I'm going to be biased, but I do want to say it is so important that you all know Lucy and I believe the older women should teach the young. And just like my mom taught me, this is my heart that I share with the younger ladies. Neither Lucy or I have daughters. I don't have sisters, a lot of men in my family. I don't have nieces, I have boys. So I'm very determined to leave a legacy that matters and to share because not everyone had the example that I had. And I am so grateful. I know we talk a lot about boss babes, and a lot of times modern women want to get out front, but what brought me to tears is when my mom talked about the power of being a quiet woman and what that entails, and it really requires a lot of strength. And I have so much respect for her. Okay, we're going to move on because I'm going to start crying again. Thanks, mom. All right, so I welcomed everyone. You all see that we're around the table listening and just paying attention. And I'm so proud of the ladies. They sat and they waited for instruction. You notice how everyone is just sitting, waiting to be instructed. And that's what you should do when you are invited to an event. event, you don't just go sit down and start serving yourself and eating up everything. You wait because you never know if there's going to be a toast, if there's going to be a welcome, if there's going to be a prayer. So you want to read the room, ladies, and make sure you're following the protocol. And I'm very proud of the ladies for that. All right. So now we went around, we did our introductions. Everybody's looking lovely. And I believe they're going to start bringing in the consomme, lots of wonderful, candid shots from Caitlin. So it was just a beautiful bonding moment. I know there's a lot of talk about the sisterhood, and it has a negative connotation, but I'm really determined for the women that want something different, for the women that believe in traditional gender roles, for the women that love being women. I want to create a space, and Lucy and I are creating this space for those women. So shout out to a new sisterhood. What would you say, Lucy?
I agree. And part of that sisterhood is also, the older women will provide guidance to some of the younger sisters that are probably not following protocol or some of the standards. And we are hoping that through that guidance, they will welcome that wisdom, because it's not, we do it not just to be, just to tell you that you're doing it wrong. We do it because we're looking out for you, because again, the world is watching you, and what you do will be watched by many others, and it could be watched by your potential next husband. So we are kind of guiding you to, to behave the right way in social environments.
It's so true, ladies. And, this space is for you to enjoy and to blossom. But Lucy is right. The men are always watching. They're probably watching here from the clouds. They are very vocal about what they want because they are sponsoring the work that we do. Pardon me. They're sponsoring the work that we do, and they continue to watch. And remember the message from BLJ, from Thane last week when we talked. This is the beginning. I know we have a finishing school, but I want the ladies to remember to take what we've taught you and continue to do the work. Because if there is one thing that men look for, it is consistency. And you will turn a man off by presenting yourself one way, and then in truth and in everyday life, you're something completely different. So we believe in praising publicly and correcting privately. So I'm very happy that we are able to share this with you all. All right. So you all can see everybody's here, and we are ready for service to begin. So we've had our consomme, we have our broth to kind of whet our appetite, and now the snacks start coming in. So these are the popovers. Now popovers are a Neiman Marcus signature item. I didn't know this, but you can compare it to like a croissant. So it's a very flaky pastry. And Neiman Marcus signature, they serve theirs with strawberry butter. So we were all served a beautiful, very large pastry popover and our butter. And I was able to teach the ladies the proper bread etiquette. Yes, there is bread etiquette, but it was so good. So good. I'm actually going to try and recreate it tomorrow. What would you say about the popovers, Lucy?
Oh, that popover was so good. I was eyeing out, I think it was Serena's. She doesn't eat carbs. I mean, going, is she going to eat it? But again, it's, I wasn't sure whether you could share food like that on something like that. And I think I asked you, and I don't even remember what the answer was.
Yes, you absolutely can. So, a little teachable moment here. Now, this is day 3, and we have been together for several weeks in school, so we know each other. There are no strangers here. So, Lucy did ask, and Serena also asked as well. We have one carnivore amongst us, so she doesn't eat bread. I shouldn't, but it was a special occasion. So you can, especially if it's untouched, you may offer, if anybody would like your, food that you didn't eat. And yes, it's absolutely okay to share or to serve. One thing about afternoon tea that the ladies, I shared with the ladies, and you all should know, when you go, they bring out the snacks and the cakes and everything, almost like in three courses. So you're going to have like a bread or sandwich course, and then you're going to have like a scone or biscuit course, and then you're going to have like a dessert course. And so you want to eat it together and pace your eating with your group. And if you want more of something, you can absolutely ask and they will replenish. So if you want more consomme or you want more popovers, the staff will happily bring it out. And shout out to the staff at the Neiman Marcus Cafe, Stephen Goburn. He worked with me from the beginning to set this up and make it a magical moment. But yes, absolutely. It doesn't look like a lot, but it's quite a lot of food. What would you say, Lucy?
Oh, the staff made the event so much more delightful. The fact that when they were distributing or presenting the things to eat or the tea, they explained exactly what was in it. What I even asked the person that presented the tea for me, I said, you know, it's my first time here. What tea would you recommend for me? And she said, just order the citrus. And it was delicious.
Yes. Okay. So by now we've had our consomme to whet our appetite. We've had our popover with strawberry butter, delightful. So a flaky, buttery, like croissant pastry with homemade strawberry butter. Excellent. So now we are going to have our tea. Now, depending on where you go, and this is what I taught the ladies, some places will have a tea menu, kind of like a wine menu, where there'll be black teas, fruit teas, green teas, all kinds of different teas you'll order from the list. Some places where you go, they'll have the loose leaf tea on the wall, and you literally will pick out the one that you want, and they'll steep it for you. At Neiman Marcus, because everyone does it slightly different, they bring around the tea chest. So you can see here they have the beautiful Daman teas, and they have the different flavors in here. And so everyone is going to get their own individual teapot. I also got citrus. It was incredible. So you can see our server here is going to each lady at a time asking which tea would you like, and then you take your own tea bag. And the tea quality, I asked everyone what they would like, which tea they had, and it was excellent. Anything to add about the tea?
I think we all enjoyed the specific teas that we chose for, and it matched our personalities. It was just perfect. I mean, the entire event was just so delightful, so light, it's such a beautiful thing to see ladies being ladies and just enjoying a good, wholesome, pure time together.
That is so true. And ladies, the men love this. I'll tell you, my man afterwards, like he loved, Lucy was telling me earlier, her husband loves for us to have good, wholesome fun, to be around other women that support us, to do things that make us better than they left us, that relax us, that calm us. This self-care routine is for you, but believe me, it helps those around you as well. So definitely find a way to look after yourself and take care. All right, so next we had our wine, or for those who didn't drink, sparkling cider. So one thing to note about tea, afternoon tea can just be tea and a couple of, they call them biscuits or cookies, but afternoon tea, like I said, is usually three courses. There's some finger sandwiches, there's some scones, there's pastries, there's dessert. You can also have high tea. I've had high tea, which usually they will have like an actual mini entree. So that could be a little quiche or a little salad. Everybody does it different. We got Suave D coming in with the $10. Says, great job, ladies. I deeply appreciate, what you're doing. I know that Kevin would have been proud. You're going to make me cry. Thank you so much. This is our heart. And I know we can do better, and I'm determined for us to do better. I will put you in the banner. So thank you. Thank you so much. So we had champagne for all of the ladies of age who wanted to partake as a way to celebrate the royal experience that I wanted to give to them, and for them to practice their stemware etiquette. It's very important. There is a certain way to hold a glass and toast, so I wanted to cover that with the ladies. Lucy, would you add anything?
And one of the things that I had to make sure when we were doing this is to always ask the host, how how do you do this? Just ask for guidance, because again, when it's your first time, it's always good to ask. In fact, the host or anybody that knows a little more of the event will be, it will be their pleasure to help you on teaching you how to do things, in the environment that you're in.
That is such a good point, lady. So if you ever find yourself invited to, what I tell the ladies, this could be a date. It could also be an interview. I'm older. I'm 48. Lucy's 57. When I was coming up, a lot of companies, especially if you work in corporate America, part of the interview process was a dinner out with the hiring manager or the team, not just to feed you, but to watch and see, can you have a conversation over a meal? What are your table manners? How do you handle the small talk? So it could be an interview. It could be investors. We have sponsors here on the channel. It could be anyone that you're networking with. So it's just good to know. And it's okay if you don't know. The correct thing to do, like Lucy said, is to ask and or observe. People feel people are very welcoming to share with you certain protocols or certain practices. What you don't want to do is just bum rush in like a bull in a china shop, like you never been anywhere, and just take over everything. That's not what you want to do. Ask and observe. And so, yes, that's one of the reasons why I wanted to get a private room for the ladies, so I could coach them through everything. Thank you again, Suave D. All right, so we're enjoying our champagne. I'm teaching them how to do a proper toast. The ladies are listening, and we're just having a wonderful time just being girls, sparkling cider or water for our younger ladies. And I'm just using this as teachable moments. So we're enjoying our bread, the bread plates, the butter, everything that goes along with that, having a lovely afternoon with beautiful ladies and just taking it all in. We're doing the toast, and I taught the ladies how to do a proper toast. I will give you all a little teachable moment, what I've learned. If you ever are caught on your feet and you need to give a speech quickly, you can think of three things about the person that you are toasting or giving the little speech to, something from the past, the present, and the future. So it could be something as simple as, and this is not a proper glass, but thank you all so much for being here today. Today, I'd like to raise a toast to Lou Casely. When I first heard of Lou Casely as a moderator on the Kevin Samuels channel, I thought Lou was a Lewis. I had no idea that behind that moderator was the beautiful woman that you see before you today. Lucy has been with me since day one of this finishing school. We are like long lost sisters, and she is my ride or die when it comes to this etiquette, elegance, and femininity space. And I know the future is limitless with what we want to do together. The best is yet to come. Cheers to Lucy. All right, so there's an example for you, something about the past, what I learned about Lucy, something about the present, how we work together, and then something about the future. So these are the types of things that I was teaching the ladies, so they have those soft skills when you're out and about. Not that you're bragging about it, but when that spotlight is on you, you know how to conduct yourself. What would you add, Lucy?
That is such incredible, fabulous advice, especially for those of us that do not like the spotlight. But it's so simple to think about something from the past, something from the present, and something from the future. And again, that is also helpful for those ladies that are looking for that significant other. That man could be at, I don't know, the wedding event that you're there, and you're pulled to have a toast. That person's going to be watching to see, does she feel comfortable doing this? Can she do this for this the next gala or gala that I'm throwing, is this a person that is ready to be amongst the environment that I'm in? So again, these are such helpful, invaluable, um, just little tips that you only learn by attending those events and by going to our finishing school.
Great plug. So I will say this, you all know the finishing school is what Lucy and I are so passionate about. We teach it twice a year. We have a wait list right now. We are going to teach it again in the fall. You can go to teachablemomentswithmaggie.com to get on the wait list. We will do this again next April. I have already booked our photographers. I've already booked an Airbnb for Lucy. I have already put deposits down on our graduation dinner. I am very serious about this. So it'll be a graduation for our new students and a reunion for our existing students. And so we'll teach it twice a year and then have a graduation in the spring. So there'll be a fall session or a winter session. So stay tuned. More is to come. All right. So after I shared with the ladies how to have a toast, we did that. And of course, I had to toast to Nana and thank my mom for coming out, and all the ladies were wonderful. And of course, mom was the recipient. And if you are the recipient, you don't toast yourself and you don't applaud yourself. You just receive. That is a very feminine quality, to receive. And then we clinked our glasses elegantly. Okay, so by now our tea is ready. You all can see that everyone received their own teapot of hot water. This is very common when you go to tea service. Usually it's like smaller, maybe 4 to 6. So they'll give you either a choice of 2 or 3 teas for the table, or you'll get mini pots of hot water. So you'll put in either your loose leaf tea or your tea bag and let it steep for a few minutes to get that flavor. And then you'll pour it into your own teacup. Of course, they have the sweeteners on the table. If you like honey, some places will have brown sugar, white sugar cubes. You can dress it up however you like if you take milk with your tea. But this was a wonderful experience. And yes, if you need hot water, they will replenish it. Anything to add, Lucy?
It was just precious to see everyone just living in the moment, just making sure that they were putting the tea bags in their own teapots, making sure that they were pouring their tea in their cups. And that is such an individual way of doing things when you are surrounded by this by people doing the same thing. It was just, again, I can't say anymore that I love the experience, even though I was hesitant at the beginning because I thought it was too much of a frilly thing. But it is worth doing it because your femininity just naturally comes out. It was beautiful to see everybody just delicately pouring their tea into their cups and just grabbing the cups correctly while just speaking with the next person or listening to Maggie guide us through. Just it was just a perfect evening or afternoon.
Absolutely. And I could not agree more. One of the things that was just such a joy for me to see in the moments where I would give some instruction and then, you all were kind of like, okay, what do we do next? And then you may begin, and to watch you all enjoy your bread and take small, elegant bites, or to watch you all pour your tea and how I taught you how to stir and how to hold the glass. And while I was watching everyone, you all were smiling as you were doing it. You were excited to be in this moment and just to allow yourself to be ladies. Ladies, please enjoy being a woman. If you're here, you enjoy feminine women and masculine men. I always say, I know it's not for everyone, and I understand that. We are not equal. We are equally valued, but we are very different. And I think our differences are beautiful. Let the snacks begin. So as Lucy said, the chef came out and she explained to us what was on the tower. So there were several towers brought to the table, and she's showing us what was made. So you can see here, I think I've got some better pictures, some sandwiches and croissants, but let me explain a little bit. So in the story, when I told you all about Anna for Duchess of Bedford, she sent down to the kitchen to have the chef prepare something for her to be sent to her room, because back in the past lunch was about 12 p.m. and dinner was about 8 or 9 p.m. So there was a long stretch when there wasn't any food, and it's not like we have today where you just go in the kitchen and get a snack. So tea is basically the chef can have their own creative moments and use whatever ingredients they have to create little finger foods and little finger delicacies that you can enjoy. Tea is eaten by hand, whether it's the bread or the little sandwiches, they're meant to be eaten by hand, unless you have high tea and they give you something on a plate, like an omelet or something. So you can see the chef is coming through. She was excellent. You know, if we had anybody with any allergies, they made sure that we didn't have anything, for example, with pork, or even for our carnivore, they made an egg and deli meat plate for our no carb student. And so they put these out on the table and it was excellent. So I think we have some chicken salad, egg salad, some cucumber, rye, tuna. But you can see the sandwiches are small and the crust is cut off. I thought they were excellent. Anything to add about the food?
It's really interesting to see how small the portions are. And you think that, at least for me, because I like eating, that you're not, that it's going to be so little to eat. But because you're drinking tea, you're eating at the same time, those small little bites, you're just experiencing the moment. You don't need any more bigger portions than what you have there. So that's fascinating. And also this tea event brings me back to, when you were a little girl and your mom brought you that plastic tea set and you played with that tea set. This brings you back to your childhood. If you're a girl, I am sure you were. Oh my goodness. Let me see the cheek. What about women's social? Thank you, Thane. Oh my goodness. All right, Maggie, it's yours.
Yours. Oh my goodness. You all know him and you love him. I wanted you to finish your thought about our childhood because that's going to tie into what Thane said, but please finish your thought, Lucy.
That it takes you back to your essence. Even when you're a child, when you're a little girl, those are things that you remember just sitting there playing either with your dolls or your sisters or your Barbies. You talk about, sharing the tea and I remember doing that, even Nicaragua and in Venezuela, in Nicaragua, that's when I was a baby. My mom would give us these tea sets and my sisters and I would play, even though we didn't know what tea was. We understood that because they were so gentle, a deity, that you were playing around and sharing food with the next person. So again, it is it is in us to be feminine. It is in us to be elegant. It is in us to be delicate. And the fact that the modern world has taken us away from being that, it's time to bring it back.
I could not agree more. And like I tell you all, just looking around the room, I'm just so proud of the ladies and the experience that we had. I'm going to respond to Thane's comment. You all know him and love him. Thank you for putting Thane in the chat. But it's true. Now, I know not everybody had the storybook childhood, but if you think about what Lucy said, I remember getting the dolls and the teddy bears around and being a little girl, and we would feed them and, give them, pour their tea. And it really is innately in us. And I want us to cherish that. I think our best quality is when we serve. I do believe we're created to be a helpmate to our man. For me, it brings a lot of joy. A lot of women have lost that and they feel that it's something beneath them to be delicate and to slow down and enjoy. And I saw what Erin Laura said about taking time to digest. When you go to tea service, it's 2 to 3 hours because you are having conversation, you are slowing down to enjoy your food, not inhaling it through the drive-through. And I know we all live the lives that we live, but if I can give this moment so that the ladies remember who they are and what we all aspire to be, I think it's the best version of ourselves. But I have to read Thane's comment, and thank you for the $100. You all know Thane is one of our biggest sponsors. I talk to him often and he gives it to me straight, and I give it to the ladies a little bit watered down version. But I appreciate you so much. Of course, your generosity, but your wisdom and your protection and your tough love. I appreciate it. He says, Madam Lucy, a tomboy? You don't say. When a matriarch gives you the cheat code about the power, oh, I'm gonna cry, about the power of a woman's social standing, quiet power, pay attention. And yes, we're coming up to that, ladies, and it's so true. Let me just say, for the extrovert, as much as I am an extrovert, my mom was the smallest stature woman at this event. She was the quietest woman at our tea party. When Nana spoke, you could hear a pin drop. And I think we need to bring that back. That's the type of woman that I aspire to be, even with all, big jobs and big accomplishments. Having that kind of impact is so unfortunately, it's rare because a lot of women my age and Lucy's age are trying to be young again, are trying to compete with their daughters and dress the same and dance the same and date the same men. But when a matriarch who knows who she is enters the space, all of the ladies paid attention. So thank you, Thane, and we're so grateful. Would you add anything, Lucy?
You're right. I think that we're probably going to come in to when you asked Nana to say a few words, and that's what brought down the house with just such beautiful wisdom and just that gentle but assertive comment, or what she had to say was just perfect for the event.
Absolutely. So I'm going to keep going through the photos here. You all see everybody just listening and having great conversation. All right, mom is about to take the floor, but I will say this. Someone had asked, if I was going to Zoom the event. You're seeing the pictures, but the moment that we had, I really think that you had to be there. We're giving you all the recap. Hopefully you can take some of it, but there really is something about being in the community that we're trying to create. And yes, I asked my mom to say a few words. And so Nana took the floor, and I started to lose it. And I'm going to tell you all why. Coming from the type of upbringing that I had, my parents were strict. I had chores. I had responsibilities. I was cleaning the house from top to bottom before I was a teenager. My mom was in the kitchen. You all hear me jokingly say, my dad would say, Maggie in the kitchen. At 13, I was doing the entire family's laundry, not just mine. This is just what was expected. And I just say this to give you all a little bit of insight into who I am. And I think the ladies who were there got to see why I am how I am. But the reason why I got emotional is because my mom was telling the ladies how proud she was of me. I did not grow up the way a lot of children are now. You praise them for everything. You give them a trophy for everything. You get eighth place. You do nothing wrong. If you were a fool, they called you a fool. This is just how it used to be. And I think a lot of young people miss that. But I would implore you, if you don't have it from your mother, find the older women and the older men who will tell you how it used to be. Humans haven't really changed that much. We have all of these modern conveniences. But my mom started to talk about how she never taught me by telling me. She taught me by showing me. And you never know as a parent if your children are watching and learning and who they will become. But you can see that she's telling the ladies how proud she is of what I've done and who I am. And she's talking about the importance of being a quiet woman, how she has served my father, her husband of what, over 50 years now. And all the things that I do were just normal to me because I know no other way. And so this was a moment, and you all could see at tea, mom was speaking, and we were all wrapped in attention. What would you add, Lucy?
Oh my goodness, Maggie. Yes, that, and I can relate to that because my mother never told us, you're great, you're this, you're that. We needed to do what had to be done, and that was that. She never told us that she was hoping that we would grow up to do anything because it was expected that we were going to grow up to be good women. And it's because we were watching her be the good woman by modeling that behavior. So again, when she started saying that she was so proud of you, it was just heartbreaking because I knew exactly what how you were feeling because my mother, up until now, she doesn't say she's proud of us because you know what? We were expected to do, when we got to the United States, we came in to work, we earned our little money and we brought it to the house to help my dad with the bills and all that. It was something normal that as women we were meant to help our family, our dad when he was in a bad spot because he was the only one working here in the United States. So again, we've never been told that they're proud of us, but now when they see us together, when we have family gatherings, you see their faces of just they're feeling proud to see what the product that we are after what they modeled for us. So it was just beautiful what she said, and to see your authentic response to how she was saying that she was proud of you in a very she was saying she was proud of you in a very low quiet voice. It was just so powerful.
Yes, ladies, and I want you all to take that. You do not have to shout, and take this from the introvert. You don't have to shout to make your presence felt. Being the woman that you are, speaks volumes consistently. So you can see all the ladies are just paying attention to Nana. I mean, we just stopped. I'm still having a breakdown, but I waited 50 years to hear that they were proud of me. But everyone was listening to mom, and yes, not a dry eye in the house. So thank you all for supporting me. I see that in the comments, but I just like to share with you all my background and why I do what I do. Of course, Lucy met her next best friend, her new best friend. She was with Nana. And just like Lucy said, she had that moment with mom. And oh, I don't want to cry again. What would you add, Lucy?
It was just to know that there are older women still wanting to share their wisdom, and there are some of us that appreciate that sharing of the wisdom, and unfortunately the younger generation does not know how to appreciate that wisdom, that they see that it's antiquated, it's old school, it's you're doing too much. Our hope is that the group that adheres to our teachings start understanding that there's a reason why there's elders in communities. It's important to listen to what they do because they've experienced life. They know what they're saying, and hopefully we can move on to create a more cohesive and traditional and soft community of women that want to serve their men, that appreciate all they do, and just see the beauty in life.
Absolutely. I love this from Thane. Thane says African parents do not tell you they love you or they're proud of you. They smile. And at my tea party with the ladies, mom was talking to the ladies the whole time. I don't think she told me, but I love you, Nana. She ninja watches. And so we dried our eyes and continued on. We got together for a group photo and then we'll close out with the desserts. So we stepped outside for another photo and they changed the courses. So up to now, we've had the consomme. We've had the popover. We've had the savory tower. So the savory is going to be your sandwiches, your chicken salad, your egg salad. There are some finger sandwiches that are common no matter where you go for tea, and then there'll be a little regional or seasonal changes. And then the next one was the dessert tower. So they changed this. They changed this out for us. You all can see we had some delectable treats. There were blueberry scones. I know we say scones, but they say scones. Toffee, macaroons, chocolate covered strawberries. Of course, they replenished our water and our sparkling beverage or champagne. It was just absolutely incredible. And when we came back in, we finished up. And here are the ladies from the first annual finishing school graduation. Lucy, before we end it, would you like to say anything about the sweet treats?
Oh, the treats were just perfect for the end. And I think that there were some left over. And the business asked us to take some for us, which was a very nice thing to tell us because usually you are not used to taking. Oh, no, no, no. Thank you so much, Nana. Oh my God, this is wonderful. Thank you.
Oh, I knew it. I knew it. I was going to try and get through this. So, if you all would do me a favor and put Nana in the chat, my mom is here and she says, Nana is so proud of you two ladies and your accomplishments so far and beyond. Stay well, everyone. Big thanks to all your supporters and your created community. Ay! Thanks, Mom. I love you so, so much. Go ahead, Lucy.
So yeah, the establishment was incredible. The service, it's one of those things again that I keep saying, I don't mind paying for good service, and they are worth every penny that was spent because they took care of us. Another thing that I noticed, did you notice that on the tables there weren't any cell phones? The ladies were paying attention, and again, we did not ask to have cell phones, whether to put away your cell phones or anything. Probably if cell phones were out, we would have probably said something about it. But if you notice, the ladies on their own decided to just live the moment, live in the moment, and just enjoy every second of it. And that Zoom request that you got, I don't think it would have been as delightful to have social media be part of something that was so special to the group that was there.
Absolutely. I was very proud of that. So let me give you all another teachable moment as we close out. When you are dining, it is never about the food. And we love food and we love to eat. But we teach this to the ladies. When you dine with others, it is about the connection, the conversation, being able to make that bond and learn something and contribute something to the people that you are with. The food is just kind of the vehicle, if you will, for you to do that. That's why there's dining etiquette. We all know when you're home alone, sometimes you're standing over the stove and you just got to get it in. But on the table should only be things related to the dinner or the tea service. So no phones, no purses, no umbrellas, no keys, none of that. Ideally, you want to have a small bag that you can just kind of tuck behind you, or you saw some ladies had it at their chair, or you can put it in your lap. But yes, imagine if this table were cluttered with all all of their things. It would not have been an elegant experience. So yes, I was very, very proud of the ladies. And yeah, you all can see we had an incredible time. I am so grateful that the ladies trusted Lucy and I with their finishing school journey. I am so grateful that they came to Atlanta. I didn't think anybody was going to come, but I'm so glad that they came. We will do this again next year and the next year and the next year, because it's important to me that we create this space for the ladies who want to refine themselves and have these experiences. So um, thank you all so much for allowing us to share this with you. Thank you to our sponsors. You know who you are, for the love, the support, the tough love. I hear you. We're taking the feedback and we will definitely get better and better. Thank you, Mom, for being here and bringing me to tears as she tells everyone else how proud she is. But I am my mother's daughter, and I aspire to be like her one day. So, Lucy, do you have any final thoughts as we close out?
I think it just worked out perfectly. If you notice here, most of the ladies are dressed appropriately for the event, and that is one of the things that in the finishing school we do talk about. You know, always be. I think that in our environment, we tend to say be more traditional and more modest rather than extra, because that's not what we do. We want to be noticed by our character and not by the clothing or the lack of clothing that you're wearing, especially to a specific event.
Absolutely. So we're going to take all of this feedback and get better. And in future sessions, we will. We'll talk to the ladies about what is expected, because we want you to win. And we have the feedback from the men and the caliber of men that you want to have. So very excited about that. Jessica says this was beautiful. BLJ, thank you, Brandon. Been with us since the very beginning. He said, excellent job, Maggie and Lucy. Thank you all so much for shouting out my mom. Thane says, Nana. My mom says, I'm honored to be part of your journey. Good night. All right, everyone. So, Lucy, next week, what
Yes,
do we,
yes.
what was I going to ask you?
If we wanted to discuss the meetup, yes, we do.
All right, everyone. So we're going a little bit out of order, but it's okay. So Lucy and I are here with you every Wednesday. Usually we had been on our Risa Tisa series, but we put a little pin in that to share with you all the finishing school graduation weekend. Thank you to all the ladies, whether you watch live or the replay that came out and were part of this. You were part of the first, so we're so happy to share with you. So next week, we will recap with you all night one, which was our happy hour. It was a travel day for a lot of the ladies. It was at Eclipse de Luna, another private dining experience with the ladies of the finishing school. And if you would like to join us, we'll be teaching the kids this summer. So we're going to take the summer to teach etiquette for the kids. That will be co-ed, boys and girls from 5 to 15. But if you are a lady 16 to 60 plus and you want to join the finishing school, we would be honored to share our expectations and our teaching with you in the fall. All right. So with that said, let me thank our sponsors. Thank you, Swab D, for the $10, and you all know him and love him. Thank you so much, Thane. As always, you come through and you're such a blessing with your heavy hands and heavy instruction. I appreciate it. So, with that said, good night, everyone. We will see you all on the next one.
Adios.